Well, welcome back. The other day I ran across a warning label on some baby wipes that we keep on hand for our youngest toddler grandsons. We got two of them in that stage right now. The warning label said, "Warning, do not flush." So the interesting part to me on that label was that on the back it said "don't flush," but on the front it said "flushable baby wipes." I guess everything's flushable if you are determined enough and you can chop it up small enough. We also have a stationary bike in our home gym, and there's a warning label on the post under the seat of that stationary bike that says, "Warning, don't ride this without a seat." It goes on to say, "Doing so could result in serious injury." Well, I guess so, but probably only if you sit down while you're working out. That'd be a little bit awkward. It's odd that there's a warning label telling people to do that. Well, seeing those two strange warning labels kind of calibrated my attention to see more warning labels. They're everywhere. There was a spray paint can that said, "Do not spray toward your face." There's a McDonald's coffee cup that we had in the car the other day that said, "Warning, contents are hot." Warning label on a hairdryer that says, "Don't use this while bathing." Another hairdryer said, "Don't use this while sleeping." What? I wondered if it was just a strange translation. There's a hotel coffee pot that I ran across a while ago in one of the hotels we were staying in while out of town that said, "Don't leave this plugged in for extended periods of time." I don't know what extended periods of time mean. Then you couldn't get out a place to unplug it. I actually saw a warning label on a brand new wheelbarrow in Lowe's, and it said, bright red and yellow, "Caution, not intended for highway use." And then there was a stroller. Of course, our kids don't use strollers anymore for our little toddlers. They're all mobile enough to not need a stroller. But one of the strollers said, "Caution, remove child before folding." Who would do that? Who would fold it and then think, "Oh, I've got a baby in there"? We had some jet skis for a while, and then one of the jet skis, when you would open up to refill it, one of the jet skis said, "Warning, do not use a lit match or open flame to check fuel levels." It goes on and on. I wonder what the stories are behind every one of those warning labels. Well, the purpose of a warning label used to be to protect people from getting hurt using a product of some sort. It was user or customer focused, I think. Well, the purpose now of a warning label is to protect the manufacturer from liability. If you're drawn into a court battle, all the manufacturer has to say is, "Well, I told you so. I told you not to run with scissors." Kind of like an old grandmother. "Serves you right. I told you." Well, some warning labels are actually helpful, but we have to look for them and we have to pay attention to them and sift through the warning labels that make no sense to look at the ones that do make sense. Like if you have a peanut allergy, it would be kind of nice to know if that ice cream has a lot of peanuts in it or something like that. Or if a warning label says choking hazard for children, or maybe the good warning label, the one that people ignore all the time, slow down, sharp right-hand turn, something like that, probably should pay attention. Well, wouldn't it be nice if your job came with a warning label before you accepted it? Well, a friend of mine said to me after a particularly frustrating board meeting, "It would have been nice to be warned about this before I took the job." I would probably still have taken the job, she went on to say, but I think I would have been able to prepare for it a little bit better. So if you are considering, or if you're brand new to a job, even if you've been in the job for a while and you're wondering what hit you, maybe this will help. Here are some really common and I think helpful warning labels that should accompany your job. First, warning: the hard thing about the job is overcoming your own psychology. You never thought that until you get exposed to the job you're in, especially if you're a leader or a manager or a supervisor, someone's trying to influence people to do things they would not normally do, especially things that are good and hard to do. Another warning label might be this: warning, my strengths can work against me. You've got some particular strengths, maybe even a particular set of skills, and they have a shadow side to them if you're very, very, very analytical, and that's one of the reasons why you got that job. Warning, that strength can work against you because some things simply can't be analyzed. Sometimes you can't make a decision by just analyzing and coming up with the right information. Here's another warning label that should be slapped on your job. Your relationships will change. If you are a part of a group of peers and then you step in, especially to a supervisory role where you are now supervising that same group of peers, or even a group of other peers that are at a level that are different than what you used to be at, your relationships will change. They'll change subtly. They'll change in things that people don't say to you anymore. You got to be ready for that. Warning, the work doesn't end. If you just stepped into a promotion, you stepped into a new job with larger responsibilities, maybe you went from being a frontline person to being a leader or manager or supervisor, you might be surprised to realize that the work never ends. You have to make your own stopping points, your own endings, or else the work is absolutely endless. Warning, interpersonal conflict in your workplace will haunt you. You'll take it home until you really learn through experience how to manage those interpersonal conflicts in the workplace. It will haunt you. You'll take it home, you'll wake up with it, you'll go to sleep with it, it'll stick with you for a while. It's hard to learn the things that enable you to deal with those conflicts that are with other people that you work with, that you can just deal with a conflict and then rest in good decisions and not have to carry it home with you all the time. Warning, it's the middle that'll get you. This warning label is kind of sophisticated. Starting something, lots of fun. Finishing something, especially finishing it well, wow, that's a lot of fun. But the middle, wow, the middle is really hard, especially if the middle goes on and on and on. It's really hard. Warning, the hard work is in the middle. Here's another warning. Most of the time, people will talk a lot about problems. It's like a never-ending river of problems that they want to talk with you about. And it's not so much about the things that are going really well. It's not natural for folks in the workplace to celebrate something that went well. They just talk about problems. Warning, get ready for that. Here's another one. Most managers and supervisors don't get any training, and they end up hating their jobs. It's not inevitable, but it's very common that a person who was very good at a job and then becomes someone who leads, manages, supervises people who do a similar or that very same job didn't understand that now my job is different. I am in a completely different job, and I didn't get any training for this. Doing the frontline level job is not training for doing the supervision of the management of the leadership of that same group of people. Here's another warning. This job will expose my insecurities. Oh, I don't have any insecurities. I have a great sense of self and I really know what I'm doing. Okay, let's go with that for a while. A couple bumps here and there and your insecurities will bubble to the surface, and nothing will expose your insecurities like leadership. Here's another warning label. I've probably picked up a few bad habits from others around me. Didn't even notice that they were bad habits. But now that I'm in the role and I do what they did, ooh, that doesn't work very well. Warning, most of the time, people can solve their own problems. The warning label should say, but they just don't want to, for all kinds of reasons. They just don't want to solve their own problems. They want to delegate upward to you. Warning label number 12, most of us, not you, of course, but most of us are mediocre. We don't rise to the challenge. We sink to the level of our habits and of our training. The corollary that goes with this warning label is probably the fine print on it, and that is, at the same time that most of us in many areas of our work are just mediocre, most of us think of ourselves as above average. Well, those people are just bad at math. Warning, mediocre people can do great things, but mostly because of the structure they're in, not because they somehow miraculously sprouted wings or superpowers or saw the light. It's the structure that helps you and I perform at a high level, even though we're mediocre. And here's our last warning. Warning, people you lead know more than you do about some things, and they'll probably know it sooner. So let's summarize this. It'd be nice to know these changes, these warning labels, they're kind of in categories. The rules are different. The relationships are different, especially if you've stepped into a role where you have expanded leadership and supervision responsibilities. And the rewards are different. The rewards we get as leaders, we get mostly through other people. And those same rewards come a lot later than they would have come had you done the work yourself. So there's a couple kinds of warning labels, and we need both types. Those warning labels that are designed to protect us, and those warning labels that are designed to protect someone else, like your team or your organization or your customers or those you serve. If someone you know is considering a different job, especially a job that has expanded supervisory or leadership responsibilities, you might want to share this long list with them. Not to dissuade them, but to prepare them. Hey, by the way, I still flush those baby wipes, even after I saw the warning label on the back. That doesn't apply to me, I thought. Hey, if this is helpful for you, how about clicking the like button, the little like thumbs up? How about subscribing to this, or maybe even just sharing this with somebody who you think, you know what, I think they might be able to use this. Thanks for joining us here on the Health Academy. Here's to you.